Hargreaves Lansdown has over 2,500 funds and is one of the best platforms in the whole of the UK if you're thinking about holding a fund platform. However, if you're anything like me, too much choice can actually put you off, and in the end sometimes it stops me from making a decision. So I've simply, in this video, I'm going to break down the cheapest way to own a global fund within Hargreaves Lansdown, the best and cheapest way to do that to potentially maximize your returns in the long run. I'm also going to show you as well the cheapest way of holding the S&P 500. Now both of these funds I hold within my junior ISA account, so we're going to have a look at that as well and check out the returns that I've had with that since I've opened that account. So I genuinely think that Hargreaves Lansdown have actually got genuinely one of the best websites in the whole of the UK for stock and fund information, as well as the other services that they offer. I'll do a video one day showing some of these amazing features, but what we are looking at today is funds. So get yourself onto Google or go straight over to the Hargreaves Lansdown website, bring up the homepage as we can see here, and then the tab you're looking for is this one, funds. So it's a great tab that they've actually got and a great function that they've got, and have a play around with this tool. So it's a really useful way of finding funds in certain sectors or geographies or whatever it is you're specifically looking at. Use this fund finder tab and break things down in terms of the criteria, search criteria that you're looking for, and it can bring up some really great options. So I use this tool to create this. This is my stocks and shares ISA from a previous couple of years. Portfolio is worth about what, 11,600 now. We've got gains on there of 28%, so good returns, and it is sitting at £2,500 gains there. So I used that fund tool. I used also the Wealth 50 tool in order to build my portfolio, and that really was around the benefits and the quality of Hargreaves Lansdown in terms of being able to help you to understand what funds you want to invest in. Now, it is well known that nearly 90% of amateur and professional investors will underperform the market. This means that 90% of people who decide to stock pick rather than buying our all-world index will do worse than those that decide to pick an all-world index. It's as simple as that. However, we want to maximize your returns, and in order to maximize your returns, we need to minimize your fees. So whilst Hargreaves Lansdown is a fantastic platform, and there are a number of different functions that are great about it, actually a lot of those are free, and in reality, when you start investing with them, it is not the cheapest platform. So you need to make sure that you're making the most of the absolute cheapest funds that you can possibly get, so that it's not eating into your capital, your growth, your gains, your potential future cash. And have found, if you ask them directly, what's the cheapest all world, what's the cheapest S&P 500, what's the cheapest FTSE 100, you don't get a straight answer back from them. So you need to be able to understand how you can do that properly. So here it is then. This is the Legal and General International Index Trust. This is an accumulation fund. Now, for those of you that don't know, basically accumulation fund is best if you're trying to grow your wealth for the long term. An income fund is best if you're going to be taking the cash out now. So an accumulation fund is really significantly going to help you to grow your cash in the long run. And this is the Legal and General International Trust. So this is coming in at a fee of just over 0.08%. This also happens to have a little dividend. It's only a small dividend, 1.3%. But that's always useful to have. So that's biannually paid, so that's paid twice a year. And when you look down here, you can see a little bit further detail in terms of what is within this fund. So basically, it's an all-world fund, but it's going to have the biggest businesses in the world as well as some of the smaller ones. So you can see here what the top 10 holdings are. So you never really get a full breakdown of every holding that's within the fund, because basically, well, that's their proprietary IP. That's the information that makes the fund what it's worth. But you can get a view of the top 10 holdings. You can get a view of the top 10 sectors, the different areas that this fund is invested in. You can get a view of the top 10 countries that this fund is invested in, so you can make sure that you've got a full diversification the way that you want to be investing. This is also a tracker, so it will be bringing in the best companies and kicking out the worst. It does all the work for you. So basically, if you're investing, dripping into this in a monthly basis, it's going to be doing all the work, and you're going to be outperforming 90% of the people out there. Also, it's from Legal and General, so it's going to give you a level of confidence that it's one of the big boys. This gives me a sense that this is likely not to go bust. I mean, stranger things have happened, but this is a Legal and General fund. And the total fees, as I mentioned, are at 0.08%. So that is cheap. In fact, it's the cheapest all-world fund on the platform. And basically, that's what I'm here to tell you about. But what you have to remember is that there is a Hargreaves Lansdown charge as well. So Hargreaves Lansdown charge a flat 0.45% for all of your holdings within your investment account. So 0.45% on top of the 0.08%. So actually, if you're going to hold this, and if you were to only hold this, you would be paying 0.53% on your entire portfolio. So that's 53 pence in £100. For every £100 that you have, you're going to be paying in fees. Now, Hargreaves Lansdown automatically take this as not something that you have to do. You don't have to pay an invoice or anything like that. Once a month, they will take that out of your account. Now, one thing to bear in mind, it is very much worth having that cash in your balance rather than them, because what they'll do otherwise is they'll sell off a proportion of your holding in order to pay for that, and you don't want to do that. So for 90% of people, dripping into this monthly, as I said, is probably going to be the thing to do. So bear in mind, I am not a financial advisor. I don't know what your situation is, and if you do need financial advice, please go and seek it. Now, if you want an S&P 500 as well, I've got just a fund for you. So this is the iShares US Equity Index accumulation again, and actually this has only recently been the cheapest way of holding the S&P 500 on the platform. It used to be the Fidelity US Index. So this one's coming in now at cheaper, and this is coming in at what, 0.05%. So the Fidelity US Index is 0.06, so not that massive amount of a difference. But this one now formally is the cheapest way of holding all of America within Hargreaves Lansdown. Don't forget that you still do have to pay the 0.45% on top as well, so it comes in at about 0.5% to own this fund. Again, scan down, you're going to be able to get the top 10 holdings, top 10 sectors, and top 10 geographies. Now, whilst this is a US fund, it also has investments within different parts of the world as well, and that's normal for all funds. They'll always have a little bit dipped in here and there, depending upon how the fund is being run. So as I promised, here is one of my junior ISAs. I've got two boys, so I've got two junior ISAs. I've got what, 2,600 quid in terms of unrealized value in these funds. As you can see, I've got the Legal and General International Trust, and I've also got, well, what was the cheapest, the Fidelity Index US. Now, as I mentioned before, that no longer is the cheapest, but at the time that made me be able to have the S&P 500 the cheapest possible way. So here what we've got is the total world covered in terms of a broad, really diverse spectrum of holdings, and we've also got the S&P 500, and that typically is a little bit more stretching and a little bit more daring. But I am confident in terms of holding this fund. So what am I, 17% up? So I started this in October last year, so 17% returned. If you're going to get that every year, you're going to be absolutely flying. So it's a quick video, guys, in terms of what is the cheapest way of holding those two funds within Hargreaves Lansdown. Now, if you are interested in finding out a lot more about the pros and the cons of Hargreaves Lansdown, watch this video here. Thanks a lot. See you all again soon.